Good afternoon, class. In today's video, what I'd like to do is to go over scientific notation. So in this video is a continuation of the last video on significant figures. And that's why there are less rules written over here, but in general, there are actually more rules in this case than significant figures. Here's why. Rule number 1 for scientific notation: all significant figure rules apply. So all those 4 rules that I did in the last video still apply to this video. But we get to at least deal with some of our, we'll go over those significant figure rules, but we'll also add a few more. So the first one that we're really going to add is rule number 2, which is the number is written in this form, which is the number, which is a decimal, times 10 to a power. How you get that power will be determined by how you move the decimal point. So let's take an example. We've got 1,000 over here, and the decimal point is written, it's understood to be over here. It may not be written, but it's understood to be here. So in order for me to, first I need to figure out how many significant figures this has, and 1,000, according to our rules of significant figures, has 1 significant figure. So now I say, okay, I'm going to move the decimal point over here so that it's going to turn into 1 times 10 to the something power. Now, what power is that? Well, this is what we call standard form. And if we move the decimal point over 1, 2, and 3 places so that it becomes 1, it's now going to become 1 times 10 to the third, because we moved the decimal place over 3 times to the left. And if you started here and you're moving 3 places to the right, it would be to the negative third. So hopefully we'll get to see that maybe in the next example too. All right, so let's go on to the third rule. And the third rule is that the number must be greater than or equal to 1. Notice that I emphasize that. Greater than or equal to 1 and less than 10. So if it is less than 1, you must move the decimal point to make it between 1 and 10. If it is greater than 10, if it's 10 or greater, it must be reduced. You have to move the decimal point again to make it less than 10, in between 1 and 10. So let's take some examples for that, and that's why. And I also made sure I put my incorrect and correct forms. So for example, if I said 10 times 10 to the third, does that communicate the idea of 10,000? Yes, it does. But is it scientific notation? No. So what we have to do is we have to take the decimal point, which is right here, and move it over 1 space so that it has, we keep significant figures. And because we moved it over 1 space to the left, we're going to raise this power by 1. So we're going to get 10 to the fourth. Let's do another example. What if I had 0.985 times 10 to the negative third? Well, that's less than 1, so that's not okay. So what we do is we take this decimal point right here, and we move it 1 to the right. And when we do that, we're actually reducing the power because we're taking the standard form number and we're moving it to the right. So if we moved it to the left, we would increase the power, and if we moved it to the right, we would decrease the power. So in this case, it would be 0.985 times 10 to the negative third would lead to 9.85 times 10 to the negative fourth. So hopefully that gives you enough examples to get you started on the homework. Good luck in your studies, and may the force be with you.